So I'm chatting to the Britain's Got Talent finalist, big man Nabil. And it's already, I'll tell you a funny story, guys. Yeah. So I've known Nabil for, I don't even know how long, but it's been, I can say Nabil's probably seen me grow up. He's seen me grow up from like a young person and a much younger person. Now I'm a big man now. I hope what I like to think anyway. And now, before back in the day, man would just call Nabil, like, yo, what girl? We chat. But now he's a Britain's Got Talent finalist. But not hear from him again. He has 2-3 working days to get back to me. After I say this podcast I'm talking about, it's been like weeks to get involved. So now, what are you telling me? Is that how it's going to be since Britain's Got Talent now, yeah? You haven't got time for me again?
Chakanyam. Listen, you little, you share. Yeah, listen, but I don't have time. You're the one that's a superstar. I swear, you and them other guys are like part-time boy band, part-time podcaster, part-time stapier. You know what I mean? With all them funky suits on a try and roast me. Are you mad? Listen, all I want to know is which suit are you wearing right now?
I'm not wearing a suit, but I'm wearing a multicolored shirt right now.
Multicolored.
Of course it is.
I don't even think you're really Senegalese. I think you're slightly Congolese, because some of them suits
I've been called Congolese so much, I even dyed my hair blonde, didn't it?
Okay, you dyed your hair blonde, so
So
I mean that can still be Congolese.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Everyone says they think I'm Congolese because of those things. But no, but
Yeah.
on a serious note, yeah, congratulations, bro. You smashed it. We're all proud of you. You made us proud. What has life been like, man? Well, go on, talk to me.
Yeah, it's been interesting, The whole process has been quite mad. Like
Yeah.
when I done it, like when I initially did the show, I had no idea the kind of reactions that. I mean, I had some idea, but I didn't know that it would be to this extreme.
Okay, sincerely, yeah, you didn't think
You
it was this
know?
big.
Yeah, I mean, because like so many factors have added. It's like so I done an interview the other day, and they were asking me, did I think the political situation, has made things different?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, yeah, because both the negative and the positive have been heightened. Like, first of all, the show dragged on for over a year because of
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
right? And then, so more people were home, more people were watching it. Then there was George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the George Floyd thing. That's galvanized people to wherever their political positions are. So you've got
Mm-hmm.
people now becoming woke overnight. You've got racists becoming more racist.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have known all of this stuff would happen the year that I'm doing Britain's Got Talent.
Of course.
And even though, yeah, I didn't win, the reaction I've gotten, a lot of people can't even name who won.
Let's be honest, we can't. I spoke to someone yesterday about this actually and said we don't even know who won, but we know Nabil. Do you know what I
You
mean?
know,
What's
and it's
interesting?
like, in a way,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it worked out better for me that I didn't.
I think, but the thing is, you see a lot of time of these shows that you find that the person who hasn't won is the person that does probably the best on these shows. I mean,
Yeah,
but let's talk about your set and stuff. For those who haven't seen it, I recommend everyone go to YouTube or Twitter and type in Britain's Got Talent at Nabil and watch his amazing semi-final. Well, no, the golden buzzer to semi-final to final, which he smashed all of them. Like,
it's
talk me
mad,
through it.
like I've got that much, yeah.
Yeah, no, but how, like, talk me through the process of your creative process of making a set, and how did you want to be this daring, or just what you normally do anyway?
I mean, this is what I normally do anyway. I'm that kind of comic. Like,
Yeah,
I grew up old school watching Richard Pryor,
yeah.
Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle. Some of your viewers, because I know you're quite young in it, so some of
Mhm.
your viewers probably don't even know that Eddie Murphy did comedy. But
Come on, respect us small. Me, I know Eddie Murphy Delirious, Eddie Murphy
yeah, but that's
Raw.
that's because you're flipping, you're adventurous. But most of you, like, how I know your generation is finished.
How?
They tried to cancel Dave Chappelle.
I know this I can't lie. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, that annoyed me so much. And I thought to myself, the generation that grew up on South Park, how are we so soft? We
I
grew
don't
up
even
on
think
a
you
hot.
guys grew up on proper South Park. I think you guys caught, like, the current South Park isn't as bad as the original
No, but
stuff that
I'm
was
born
out.
90. I'm born 93. My
Wow,
earliest
do you know
memories.
how mad that is to me?
Why? Do
93.
you remember
So how old does that
93?
make you? How old does that make
I'm
you? 12
26. 26.
or 26?
So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm 26. So my earliest memories now. I remember the turn of the millennium. Millennium Dome in London was made, which is now the
Mm,
O2 Arena. I remember a time
mm,
without internet and social media. I'm not that flipping young, yeah. But like,
mm.
but you're right. You're right. The Dave Chappelle thing was actually interesting to me because I thought to myself
Yeah,
like,
like people. Yeah, yeah. It was
no,
crazy.
sorry, yeah, it's crazy. I thought, come on, man. Those who know anything about Dave Chappelle, he's always been that daring comic. And I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't know how you feel about because we're talking about. I don't want to go on to make it too political about freedom of speech, but I
Mm,
do think that comedy should be sacrosanct. I think comedy is
yeah.
the last frontier, and I think comedy should be like you can say what you want almost. Personally,
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to take that away from us too, man. They're
mm-hmm.
trying to take that away from us. Like, you see how many complaints these people sent in for me?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
come on. We've got a whole prime minister that's calling people letterboxes and talking about
Pickaninnies.
Pickaninny's watermelon smile, and these people voted him in. But a guy
Exactly.
saying that Boris Johnson, so a guy saying that what was that? What was that guy? That Winston Churchill is black. That's what's gonna make you upset. Like really, really untrue. They should just tell the truth. It's not what I said that makes them upset. It's my existence.
Exactly.
Just make it plain.
Exactly.
I could have gone on there and sang Rule Britannia, and they'd still be offended by it.
Exactly.
That's all it
Exactly.
is.
No, it's funny, and I feel like it's just this thing of a lot of people, which you call them the gammons, yeah. I
Yeah,
have
Gamanati.
gammon well, they have this thing of like they have this it's almost coming to terms with the world is changing around them,
Yeah,
and they cannot come to terms with it. Sorry, bro.
yeah.
There's a bit of movement with the microphone. I think it is, or background noise.
Sorry, that's just my couch.
Oh, okay,
I
cool,
mean,
cool, 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 cool,
sofa.
cool.
That's
It's
your
so,
Smith sofa.
it's just sofa. No,
Yeah,
it's cool, it's cool, it's
I
cool.
say
But
couch in it, but it offends my wife because
no, but as I was saying, yeah, it's like I think a lot of people who use nice, quite infamously or quite aptly call them the gammons. They have this thing of like they're very not used to, or that they're unwilling to get used to what the world has become. So, for
yeah.
example, I spoke to Baroness Vasi not too long ago, and she said that she meets up with a lot of these people who send their hate mail, like hate
Wow.
like she meets up with people like oh, we're gonna all this kind of stuff, and she gets a lot of hate mail. She goes, when I'm feeling brave, I meet up with them, and she goes, all the time it's the same thing. I take them out for coffee. It's like I'm not a race. It's just that the world's not like black people just don't know their place anymore.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny, right? These people, like you look at these guys, right? These people, they're not the British. They're not even the descendants of the ones that came out and colonized people. They were
exactly,
used as cannon fodder, right? In the
exactly.
olden days, the upper classes used to send these people to go and work on the fields. They would send them out to war, and then whenever there was like a famine or a plague, they let them, kind of like what's happening now. When there's a famine
Mhm,
or a plague, they let them die. But
mhm,
because these guys have created whiteness, you see, they're so smart. They've created a concept of whiteness. So you've got an underclass that, if you look at it in terms of attributes, they're
yeah,
even beneath us. They're not as educated as we are. They're not
yeah.
as well traveled. They're not as healthy. They have nothing going for them. The only thing they have that they can hold on to is their whiteness. And
So
they
true.
know it. So when they see someone like me on TV and they know that, oh, this is benefiting him, it
Mhm,
upsets them because the only, at least when we all poor, we're all broke, at least then they're superior to us. But when we start to get a platform, when we start to get our own things, our own foothold in establishments, it really upsets them. Think about it. The
mhm.
thing that annoys them the most of the time, the thing that annoys low level racists the most is not even our opinions. It's
Yeah.
economic things. That's why they always attribute it.
It's what? So I said it again.
It's economic factors. That's why you always see them attribute our existence to taking away either benefits or jobs or houses because they don't
Deep.
have the ability to get these things for themselves. Why? Because the upper class has suppressed them. It's made them less intelligent, made them less
No,
educated.
it's absolutely true. I mean, Akala chucked is on a brilliant point where he says that
Mm.
now it's the whole thing of like, how can there be institutionalized race when when working class white boys are doing the worst?
Oh,
Yeah, but then that thing
I, I,
is, so
I've got a
Karen.
joke about that.
Oh, really?
I say someone asked me, "Oh, how can white privilege exist when I'm white and I'm poor too?" And to that, I always respond, that's because even with a head start, you didn't run fast enough. So it's like, and this concept of divide and conquer, they've done it here with the class
Yeah.
system, and they make the working class fight, and then the middle class, they make them fight over right wing and left wing
Mm-hmm.
politics. That's what they do. But the upper echelon of society are beyond even left and right wing. They're just there for
Exactly.
economy. They're just there to rule.
Exactly.
The lower middle class people are the ones that feel. That's why, like, even the left wing is, forget about right wing for a second. Even left wingers are kind of dumb. Like, I remember recently on Twitter, I said something like, I expressed some anger about what's going to happen in my community because of the second
Yeah.
lockdown. I've got family members that have had to close down businesses they've been running for 17
Wow.
years. That's it. And they've never made a bad investment or a mistake with their investment or whatever. They're not. They're good with money, but because of what's happening, people are having to close down businesses. Now, if that's happening to them and they're wondering how they're going to eat,
Mm-hmm.
what about people that live from hand to mouth? What about lower level working class people? What are they supposed to
It's
do?
true.
And it's like, do you have any suggestions then? Would you be safe? Like some white feminist Guardian reading type person. Yeah, well, do you have any suggestions? Yeah, would you be saying that if it wasn't all people dying? I just like to look, I'm black. I carry extra weight. I've got asthma. I live in inner city London. Sickness is more likely to strike me than you. So shut up.
It's true
I
though.
lost a
It's
friend.
true though.
I've lost friends and people around me have died from this thing. Like, I live down the road from Brixton. A 15-year-old boy died from it. What are you talking about? So, all of a sudden, like, they can't. They think because I'm left wing, most of the people who have a problem with lockdown are right
Mm-hmm.
wing. So if somebody says something about lockdown, automatically that makes them an EDL supporter. I'm like, just shut up for a second and look at the practicality of what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. And this level of brainwashing exists even in the Muslim community, and it's the same thing
Yep. Yep.
where you have people who are colonized by the same people that colonized us, but because they've been made to feel that they're better than us, again, because of the color of their skin, they will fight us when we're trying to fight the establishment. Look, now you see so many of these scholars, so many of these Muslim personalities said, oh, if you insult the blacks, it's racist. If you insult the
Yeah.
Jews, it's anti Semitic.
Yep.
But when you insult the Muslim, and they forget that the only continent on earth that's majority Muslim is
Africa.
what? Africa, where black people are manufactured by and large.
Mm-hmm.
They forget that the people who spread Islam across the West, it wasn't no Arabs, it wasn't no Asians, it wasn't no Pakistanis flying to America and giving doubt. It was black people that spread Islam in the West first.
Yep.
It was black that normalized
A
Islam
hundred
in the
percent.
media. Black, and if it wasn't for black people's sacrifices in these people don't even learn history because they come here and they have relatively, like for example, the Kashmiri community here in the UK was brought in to work in
Yeah.
factories. They were brought in to work. We were brought in as slaves. You see the
Mm.
difference? So they don't even bother to look up our plight. Like they don't know, for example, how the Immigration Act was signed in America. They don't know what black people had to do for them to be able to be in the Caribbean. They
Mm.
don't know about Dutch Bookman, Nani, Kujo. We had to shed our own blood. We had to suffer for these people to live the way they do
Yep.
now. And then they still come in and talk about our struggles as if white people just give us stuff. I remember one guy telling me that the reason there's no Asians in football teams is because of racism, and that black people got through boxing because white people gave it to them. They don't know the story of Jack Johnson, who had to travel from America at a time when black people were still enslaved in some states,
Wow.
because slavery didn't end in
Yeah,
one
yeah, of
day.
course.
It was still kind of Jack Johnson had to fly and follow the heavyweight champion, who was a Canadian man, to Australia, France, all these different countries, because they said that no black man, the guy refused to fight a black man
Wow.
because there was a color line. It said human beings shouldn't fight animals, right?
Hmm.
And then when Jack Johnson won the title, they hated him so much they made up a law. There's a law in America about carrying a woman from one state to another. If you're not married, to sleep with her, that will get you jailed. They made up this law so they could arrest him and then do him for taxes. And that law only got taken down not just a few years back,
Wow. Sorry.
right?
Say that law
It
again. Was it? You can't go. Say that law again.
you can't carry a woman across if you're not married to a
Oh.
woman in America. You're going to go from one state to another and then sleep with her. And that was made primarily just to for an excuse to arrest Jack Johnson. This guy was probably the first boxing superstar. People like Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, all borrow. He used to talk to his opponents in the ring while he beat them up.
Oh.
He used to taunt his opponents. He was the first boxer to fight primarily defensively. He was the first boxer to own flashy cars, flashy clothes, and he intentionally would date white women just to annoy white people. And this is at a time when people were still being lynched. He came to the UK, and in the East End, some white people tried to kill him, a group of about six of them, and he beat them up, right?
Okay.
So this man died. They made up laws to arrest this guy. And after he lost the title, right, it was about 30 years before another black man was allowed to fight to become the heavyweight champion of the world, right? And his name was Joe Louis. And when he won, he had to sign a contract that said he would never celebrate after beating a white opponent,
Wow.
and he would never have his picture taken with a white woman. Yeah, Marvin Hagler came to the UK and boxed and beat racist boxer that just died this year. May his name be erased. Where he fought this guy, and the British threw chairs and bottles at him. That was just in the 70s. These are the things that black people have had to go to excel in sport.
Mm.
But you've got Asians and Arabs that will tell you that these things were handed to us. You talk about riots, like you've got the Brixton riots, Broadwater Farm riots, riots in Manchester, Birmingham, all the gangs that we had to form just to fight police so that we could avoid police brutality. I mean, there's brothers like Nabil Abdullah who will tell you when he was 14, skinheads used to stop there, turn up in vans and attack black kids. Look at Stephen Lawrence, he got stabbed to death.
Yep.
These were the things we went through.
Yep.
Yet these people talk about our struggles as if, you know,
And I,
some of them have never
and I think it's that thing of it's very unfortunate, not even worse than unfortunate, because you have these experiences and people will speak about, you and me. And when we speak about anti-blackness that exists in Muslim communities, it's almost as if people are saying, oh, we're troublemakers or whatever it may be. When in fact,
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is we are just speaking the truth. I mean, the thing is, it's wallahi ladhim, yeah, like I swear to God, being a black Muslim is hella exhausting. It's hella exhausting. It's like no, but it is though, because let's talk about the Rihanna situation. Yeah, we know Rihanna for a fact. She's someone who celebrates diversity like to its nth degree. Yeah,
Yeah.
we know that
Yep. Yep. Yep.
how
Yep.
she's put hijabis like front line in her shows. Yeah, wherever
Yep.
you think about permissibility or impermissibility of modeling, fair enough. I know that's a separate discussion. But what we know for a fact, she's someone that celebrates diversity. Now it's come out with By the way, I speak Arabic. I couldn't even make out what was being said in that video. But anyway, yeah.
Then
Okay.
most of the people, complaining about this can't even recite Al-Fatiha properly. But go on.
Exactly. But go off, people. Someone said, okay, it's a hadith. I was like, okay, fair enough. She come out and apologized profusely. Cool. All I'm saying is that if you want your Black Lives Matter, if you want your Black life to matter, then our prophet should matter. I'm thinking, are you not no? Do you not know there's Black Muslims? Like what is wrong with you?
So let me tell you something. Like you see, when that happened,
Yeah.
I tweeted and I said because somebody then complained about another rapper saying Inshallah, Alhamdulillah, and, Islam is not something for you to love, and it was again a Pakistani
Mm-hmm.
person who probably did not speak Arabic, and I said, oh, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but even terms like Inshallah, Bismillah, and all this stuff, they're not actually exclusively Muslim. One.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, some sources will tell you they were used by some people before Islam.
Yep.
And some of these terms that we use, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, are very common among Arabic speaking Christians and Jews.
Yep.
Yeah, and other groups. So it's like these people's folk understanding, contextless understanding of Islam. And the thing is, now this is what frustrates me. So I said this to this woman on Twitter. It's like, I think you should do your research. I posted articles. I was like, you mean what, like this? Before you tell people to do research, maybe you should do yours. And she's like, listen, yeah, Arabic, all I know, like Muslims say that word, and then some guy who's like a raver, LGBT activist, not even a Muslim, said, yeah, actually, it's true. Jews use this term as well in countries like Yemen and so. It's like, oh, I never knew that. I'm like, it's funny how me, a Muslim, is telling you this and you're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, a non-Muslim, comes and tells you this, and all of a sudden you're listening. But it shows you that. I remember I was in Morocco with family, and somebody was making fun of Hindus for drinking cow pee
Mm-hmm.
or something of that nature. And I said, it's actually a sunnah to use a small amount of camel pee and mix with the milk to take as medicine. And this person didn't believe me. I don't believe you. Like constantly, when you're a black Muslim, even when you have knowledge, people doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
As people think that us black Muslims are in the public eye, people like myself and yourself, people will still try and challenge. Like a lot of people probably still haven't figured out that all this time you spent in Egypt, maybe, just maybe, you speak Arabic.
It's true.
People will see someone like me and assume that I'm not practicing
Yeah.
because I don't wear a Salafi style white robe and Michael Jackson jump up trousers. You know, like,
It's true. That
and
is true. But I
and you
wanna,
know what?
Karen, yeah.
Even in the hierarchy, they prefer the black reverts because they feel some kind of ownership over them. You see,
Mm-hmm.
Muslims like me and you that come from an African heritage, and
Yep.
I'm not saying we're better, but because our Islam is independent of them, we didn't go to a Arab or Asian masjid to become a Muslim. You
Yeah.
just Muslim. There's a certain kind of hatred they reserve for us.
It's
It's
that
a
thing.
distinct,
It's that thing of not being able to assert domination, isn't it? It's like we understand
yeah,
that our religious interpretation doesn't come through this lens. So that 100%. But I don't want to dwell too much on the Islamic stuff for now, because this is our life work that we've been doing, and we will continue to do so. But I want to talk about
yes.
you a bit more in the public, because you're a big fish now. But on specifically, talk to me about your relationship with comedy in terms of, like, do you believe comedy should be sacrosanct, and reflect that into the guy who made the joke about Christchurch.
Listen, so my golden rule for comedy is this: you punch up, not down, right?
Okay.
So comedy has always existed in different cultures, in different forms. So, like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you and I are both West African, and the culture of griots exists,
Yeah, agree.
right? The traveling poets and
Mm-hmm.
they would go to different places, they knew different languages, they sing songs. Most traditional griot songs have an element of humor in them, do they not? Or
Yes.
you look at the poets of Asia like Rumi, Hafiz, Kabir, and so on. Again, there was actually a humorous element to their writing that's lost in language now.
Yeah.
And again, they would satirize the kings.
Yeah.
They would mock the tyrants. The same thing with the bards of Europe. You look at someone like William Shakespeare, Geoffrey Chaucer. Their works were like, now it's become what we call dead theatre. But before, Stratford, you went to watch like the earliest days of Shakespeare. You went to a rowdy place to watch
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was used to make fun of the upper classes, and now the upper classes have appropriated it like they do with everything and done their own cover of Shakespeare, which is completely dead and nothing like the original works.
Mm-hmm.
So with stand up, I feel like if you are, it's for the powerless. That's the reason why the most successful comedians outside of England, because England is backwards when it comes to entertainment, the most successful comedians in America, which is the most media savvy country in the world,
So
tend to
you're,
be
you're cutting
people.
out a little bit. Say that all again, please. That bit again.
I said the most successful comedians in the world outside of England, because when it comes to entertainment, England is backwards. But if you go
Mm.
to America, the most successful comedians are people who come from a background of some sort of disadvantage. They're Jewish, they're black,
Yeah.
they might be gay, they might be Muslim, but there's something, they might be fat. There is something there because comedy comes from tragedy, right? So why I say this
Yeah.
is this, I'm a man doing jokes about the upper class of England. Nothing
Yeah.
on them directly. It's not bullying. It's not. It's not
Mm-hmm.
marginalization of anybody. It's the lower class or the small guy attacking. Chris Rock even said like doing jokes about short guys isn't really fair. So Chris Rock has a joke where he said, if you're a guy and you're making fun of short guys, you're a bully. Whereas short guys,
Okay. If you're a tall guy making fun of
you're a
short guys,
bully.
yeah.
But if you're a short guy making fun of tall guys, then it's tall guy still wins in every other aspect of life. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
poor people doing jokes about rich people. Like the rich person still has
Mm-hmm.
power. So that's what we call punching up. What a lot of we're seeing now with a lot of like particularly very angry white men is they're angry that they can no longer
Mm-hmm.
punch down because they're being called out for it. So for example, you've got Charlie Hebdo in France that did jokes, did these cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they say
Yeah.
freedom of speech. And my counter argument to them is this: if you're saying that you should be able to do what you're doing, then that means you're also justifying the anti-Semitic newspapers that Nazis used to print. And in fact, that Charlie Hebdo actually draws in the same style of animation as the newspapers Das Stürmer.
Oh wow.
If you look at the artwork, all the anti-Semitic stuff they printed, they draw in the exact same fashion. In fact, some of the cartoons are an actual repeat of things that appeared in Das Stürmer, which was a 1930s propaganda piece newspaper by the Nazi Party. And I think the main editor was Goebbels, who was Adolf Hitler's head of propaganda. So, obviously I know you know, but whoever is listening, and if you look at the artwork of Charlie Hebdo and you compare it to Das Stürmer of the 1930s, I think that's what it's called. It's the exact same kind of artwork. So anybody who tells me freedom of speech is also arguing that someone like Wiley should be allowed to say what he said. You're arguing that people should be allowed to deny things that have happened in history and make racist statements and incite hatred.
But the thing is, I will just hit back at that. I'm just acting as a proxy. Isn't that a bit of an arbitrary line? Because, like, are you saying that a white comedian can never tell black jokes? Then,
if that white comedian is comfortable to come round to Brixton or Croydon and do those jokes, then they're more than welcome to come round. See, like when I did my jokes, for example, you watch so that I can show you there's no double standard, right? You watch my audition for Britain's Got Talent. There's a lot of jokes that got taken out because they had to edit it to make it short. The audience was at least 80% white, if not 90%. And I did jokes about white people, right? I used to run a comedy club just down the road from my house in Norbury. Every time these white comedians came in, they were used to having like a 99.9% white audience, right? When these guys came in and saw that our audience was, let's say, 50-50, 60-40, with black people and Asian people and Arabs heavily present, they were visibly scared. Like, it's not even about being a minority for them. Even just us being around in equal numbers scares. And the only comedians that didn't have a problem when they came in, the only white comedians that didn't have a problem with that, were the ones that were, had grown up around black people. That were used to the culture. So you've got comedians like Bill Burr, who probably hang around with black guys.
His wife is black, innit?
There you go. You've got comedians like Gary Owen. Again, there's a familiarity with the culture.
I mean, it's funny on Bill Burr. I don't know if have you ever heard any of his podcasts?
Yes.
So obviously he'll come out with some very problematic stuff, and his wife always corrects him, innit? He's like, well, what's wrong with you? No, that's not how it is. And you can tell he's had such a black education, innit? Like you can tell, innit? Like he's his recent one with talking about white women.
Yeah.
He came out speaking of white women, saying that you white women, hypocritical. You stayed around of these years of oppression. Now you're talking, shut the F up.
You listen to a black woman say that. It's very clear, right? And someone like that, even though I don't agree with everything he says, you can tell that there is a familiarity between him and the people he's talking about. He's not just a random white guy who is outside of the community.
And I find ultimately, if I'm honest with you, I can't lie. I'm very biased, but I feel like if you're gonna do the offensive joke, and I can't lie, I do like offensive humor.
So do I.
But I feel like at least let it be funny though. A lot of the time, you just tell people are using it to express their racism.
Yeah.
You're just literally I'm racist. I just want to express my racist views, and I'm going to do it under the guise of comedy. That's what I found a lot of time. If I'm honest with you, I watch a lot of these sometimes these white comedians, white female and male. They're speaking up. I'm just like you're not even funny. Like, no. For me, Dave Chappelle is the GOAT because it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny, and he's doing it in front of the people he's talking about, and that's the other thing.
He's fearless.
As a black comedian living in the UK, you are familiar with white people and their culture because it's all there is. It's everywhere.
It's dominant culture.
It's a dominant culture. Whereas you find that with white comedians that want to do jokes about black people, the kind of white comedians that get into trouble for doing jokes about black people are the kind that don't actually have an understanding of our culture or our experience. And that's why they get it wrong. That's why we get it wrong.
Good point. And that's why it's not funny, and people perceive it as offensive.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm a Muslim comedian, but like I know a great deal about Jewish culture, Jewish history and so on. Yeah, I mean, because I like to study this stuff, and I lived in a predominantly Jewish
Yeah.
area and so on. I've done jokes. People are like, you can't do jokes about Jews. I do jokes about Jews. I've done jokes. How about this? I'm signed to a Jewish-owned management company, and one of my
Okay,
manager's
interesting.
favorite jokes that I've done was a joke about Jews. So it's like
Oh
you can
wow.
do these things with nuance. The same way, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I've done jokes about, I performed on Sunday in front of almost 100% Indian crowd. And I did
Yeah.
jokes about them. Those were their favorite jokes because they know that one, I was speaking their language. I was talking about things in their
Yeah.
culture accurately, right? And so then I
That's
did
such a
that.
good point. I think that nuance is something I hadn't realized before, but I agree
Yeah,
with that.
when you're talking up, like for example, we started this podcast, and I said something to you, I believe in your language, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because someone else is saying it, and it means that they have to have some
Yeah.
level of familiarity, and that's why, for example, black people would embrace flipping anybody that comes. Like that's why we like Adele so much. She's obviously someone that grew up
Yeah.
listening to Motown, and
Speaking about Adele, when she did the Bantu Knots, yeah, I had no problem with it. But what did you think?
nah, I mean, honestly, when Adele did the Bantu knots thing, I mean, I thought I always think it looks funny when white people do protective hairstyles because like, what are you protecting your hair from? But but at the same time, it didn't offend me because I know.
Was it appropriation?
I mean, maybe it was. I don't know. It
I don't
wasn't
think so.
something that I was
Okay,
bothered.
but
But
what
you
but
can
what
tell
but
she
what's the
grew up
line between
having.
appreciation and appropriation? Where's that
For
line?
me, it's this: if you're benefiting from something when the originators are
Yeah.
not, and you're claiming to be an originator of that thing, then it's appropriation.
Hmm.
So, for example, a black man wearing a suit to go to work isn't
Yeah.
cultural appropriation because we live in a country, we were colonized, we were forced to wear these clothes. Now, in the corporate world, if you
Yeah.
wear anything else, you look like a weirdo. Whereas a
Yeah.
white boy with dreadlocks in a dashiki being called, oh, he's so, well cultured. Whereas you know very well you turn up to the same place and police are called. That is appropriation. At one point, if you
Hmm.
Google the word dreadlocks, the first thing that came up were white Kawali band players with dreadlocks. They wouldn't even put Rastaman on Google.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Appropriation is
Okay.
thick lips being ugly when it's a black person, but then when it's a white person
Yeah.
that's injected,
I think what I've always said, I have no issue with appreciating other cultures, and I like wearing other people's clothing sometimes, and I will do that. If I go to Japan, man's gonna put on those Japanese clothes. I think they look sick,
yeah,
And you know me, you said you started this by saying with my funky fashion anyway. You know I'm very explorative in my fashion
that's a
anyway.
word.
But what I've always said is that explorative is that's what
I said, yeah,
it's a
that's a good
compliment
word for
anyway.
it. That is good.
But what I find about appropriation and appreciation, where I think it's problematic, is where the Kardashians put on braids and the
Boxer
papers
break.
say that these people have created a new
Yeah,
hairstyle.
absolutely.
And it's the same time when black women are told that
They can't
no
go
one
to
can
work.
touch your hair or
Yeah,
I can't go to work
can't
like
go
this.
to
We have our own private flipping private. For me, yeah, no one can tell me about unprofessional hair when we have Boris Johnson's hair like that.
school.
No one can tell me about any unprofessional hair. I'm saying no one can tell me about my hair is not professional enough. My man can't even put a comb through his head
The
top.
guy looks like he got into a fight with Shango and Thor.
Just before he came out, I'm like, I don't, but it's part of persona. But
Yeah.
moving on, talk to me about your BGT experience, bro. What's like? Talk to me
Oh
through it,
man,
man.
it was crazy. So in the lead up to it, there was a lot of
And the real question, I don't want to get you in trouble. Sorry. How did you not hug my people? I'm sorry, man, but people are gonna ask me this. How did you not hug Alicia Dixon?
you're gonna ask me that while my wife's sitting down right next to me. Okay. The reality is this, man. We as Muslim men need to live up to a certain standard because it's like if a Muslim sister was on stage hugging up David Williams or Simon Cowell,
True,
he'd get
true.
roasted and rinsed. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen where brothers will slip up and hug, because it's weird, the culture we live in. But
Yeah,
if I was a sister in hijab, right, and I hugged up Simon Cowell, you know, people will get crucified.
of
So it's
course.
like,
Yeah, of course, of
why are
course.
we pushing these standards for women and then men? I'm not gonna name anybody, but there's a whole bag of Muslim man who are, all cozying up with Karen and Sharon and Susie on chat shows on TV, on TV,
Mm.
and people don't say anything. We live in a
Mm.
time where
100%.
Muslim men will back a Muslim man that was accused of multiple rapes, but attack a flipping
No. I mean
modest
the
fashion
hypocrisy.
for taking off a hijab.
Hundred
You
percent.
know,
No, but the hypocrisy is there.
yeah,
I always find it. I find it so strange that the Muslim man would be someone who in society he'd be like, lower your gaze, akhi. You go to the masjid, lower your gaze.
you go to
Then
the
it's a thing
office
of like,
and him and
I go,
Becky,
hi Susie,
Becky,
hi
Susie,
Sharon.
mm-mm.
Oh, can I get you some? Can I get you something? Jump off.
you know,
The you go to the office and you're like, can I get you two coffee? Can I get you coffee? How
yeah.
many
And then
sugars,
you hear
love? You
them
know
when
what
you
I mean?
talk to
But
their
but
Muslim
but, but then
counterparts at work.
I know it's like astaghfirullah. I'm like, go down. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
like, come on, man, come on, man. But now it's talk to me about your BGT experience, man.
yeah.
So you went
So
on,
in the lead up to it, I had to really think. Because remember, I had a career before this. It was going well. I
yeah,
didn't know COVID was coming, but something just told me, just do it, just do it, just do it. So when I was gonna do it in the lead up to it, I was just thinking, yeah. I went on tour. While we were on tour, every night I thought about it. I'm like, I hope this is a good idea.
so
I
what?
was
Sorry.
on tour before.
Yeah,
I was doing a tour with one of these charities or whatever, Muslim comedy tour,
yeah.
and I had to think about it every night and think, you know what? If this audition goes badly and I embarrass myself, I could just lose my whole career and everything I've worked for. And
Mm,
in the industry that I'm in, like it's very tough to even get to where I was before Britain's Got Talent. Like, not a lot of
mm-hmm,
comedians were as fortunate as me back then.
mm-hmm,
But in the end, the way I live my life, who dares wins. And I've got a family to look after, man. And I just want to make sure that I can
mm,
do the best for them. And I thought, wow, this is good. I don't know how long this is going to be sustainable without doing
yeah,
something concrete. And like I always say, I'd rather take a bullet in the head than leave my family unfed. Understand?
mm,
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I went on Britain's Got Talent, and I remember like, I would wake up at night. I was so nervous about it because I'm an anxious person. I struggle
wow,
with anxiety and have panic attacks and the likes. And I remember when I was on tour, so I auditioned in January. When I was on tour
yeah,
in December, on three separate nights, people approached me and said, Nabil, you should do Britain's Got Talent. I think you could win.
mm,
And I thought, that's funny that because they didn't know that I was going to do it. And then I remember the
oh wow,
night before I did Britain's Got Talent, I did a show and I smashed it because I always do because I'm dope
yeah,
at what I do. But
100%.
I'm dope. But like I was waiting outside and people coming up to me saying, "Mate, this is gonna be a big year for you. I can feel it." Some hippie guy said, "Let me take a picture with you because I believe it will be valuable by the end of the year." I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, you take that picture."
Wow,
Then there were these girls that came. They were like, "Yeah, you should do Britain's Got Talent. You do well on there." And it was this is too much. And then the next day, I went for the audition, and I'd only had like 3 hours of sleep because, like, my wife would tell
mm,
you, like, I'm very anxious and stuff. I had
wow,
3 hours of sleep. We had to get the kids ready. I went with both my kids. We went all the way down to the Palladium. There was such a big queue. I remember arriving, and there was this dude, like, there's this dude in a dress going, yeah, Philippines, Philippines. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is what I'm up against. Like, I'm just a guy with jokes, but like, I turned up and it's like, I'm just a normal everyday guy to the point where they thought it was my daughter that was auditioning. You know,
oh
she looks
wow,
like a star. So
yeah,
we turned up and, sniffer dogs and all of that, security, get our wristbands on, and the queue of acts is so big that we're not even in the actual venue. We're in
wow,
a hotel round the corner from the venue, and like there's too
oh
many of
wow,
us to even be in the lobby. They had to like clear out the downstairs portion of the hotel, and there's loads of us everywhere, on chairs, in this really hot room, toddlers throwing tantrums. And like we were
wow,
there from about 11 o'clock in the morning and like they had to do us in batches and I got put on late. People don't realize more comedians auditioned this season than ever before. On the
oh
day that I was
really,
on, there was about 15 comedians.
oh wow,
And so I was on later in the evening. So I came at 11 o'clock, 3 hours sleep the night before. 11 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't on until 9:45 at night. Yeah,
9:45.
I was on late. I was one of the last five people to perform,
Damn.
and I was on the same heat as I think Damien O'Brien, Hakan, and Magical
Okay.
Bones. We were all in the same heat, even though it got shuffled in the edit. So we're in different episodes.
Oh, okay. So how does it work? So then you finally come on, you see Ant and Deck.
So you're backstage doing all the recording and stuff, and different
Yeah.
interviews. They're taking different video shots of you. They don't know what they're gonna use. And then finally,
Yeah,
like, I'm watching, and like there was a comedian on who was quite good. It was a Scottish guy named Cubby.
yeah.
Okay, actually, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, did they show? Yeah, they showed it on YouTube. So Scottish guy named Cubby who was blind, right, and he did jokes about being blind.
Okay.
Very good, very very funny. And then Magical Bones went on and did that crazy trick that he did, and even we backstage didn't know how he did it. And like, I could hear
Mm.
people cheering, and he didn't get golden buzzer. I'm like, bro, that guy didn't get a golden buzzer because I'd already been talking smack beforehand. I told them that, yeah, I'll take the golden buzzer today. Everyone here is just wasting their time.
Yeah.
I'm going, like, you know me, man. Like, obviously, being typical, this is
Yeah.
how we
Come
Africans
on.
do, man. You turn up and you
Come on.
speak it into existence. Obviously, you make dua, but you speak it into existence. And I said, I'm gonna get a golden buzzer. And
See, someone said on Twitter, speaking into existence is just gentrified dua.
there you go. so, my mom called me beforehand, and she told me that, one, whatever it was you were when you went there, when you leave, you'll be more. And two, when you step on stage, no matter what fear you had before, something will enter you. African moms
For
and their
sure.
dua. So, bro,
Yeah.
as soon as it was time, they had just, I went to the toilet, right? You know that that X that they give people when they're rubbish.
Yeah.
That thing is so
Yeah.
powerful, it vibrates the venue, the entire palladium.
Oh
Like,
wow.
I went to the toilet and there was and the toilet shook. The whole bathroom shook. I
Oh
thought there
wow.
was like an earthquake. You understand? Then finally, it
Oh
was
wow.
my turn after they just buzzed off some crazy woman with like dolls or something. And David Williams was like in a bad mood. And the thing is, earlier in the day when I
Mm.
was coming in, so David Williams was like wearing a dress and a wig and stuff. And I saw him and I stared at him like, what? Because he's like 6'4", bro. In real life, he's 6'4",
Oh
and he's like
wow.
big. He's a big guy, And then he was wearing heels, so he was even taller. And he had like a wig and makeup and a dress. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It took me a while to figure out that it was David. And obviously, naturally, when I don't smile, I've got a screw face. So me and him met eyes
Yeah.
and we were just screwing each other, And I'm like, why is this person looking at me? And I only realized, oh crap, that was David Williams.
That's it.
So in the end, it was time to go on stage. And then they talked to me and they're like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I went on, introduced myself, and like, when I came on, I remember David Williams saying, you better be good after what was just on stage, man. He
Oh
was not
wow.
in a good mood at all. And I said my name, where I was from, and they asked, I forgot to mention I was a stand-up comedian as well, so I had to say it as I started my set.
Okay. Yeah.
And like as soon as like I just so when I stepped on stage, I felt something like a vibration in me, bro. No exaggeration. Like I could
Mm.
just feel it build, and all the anxiety and stuff I had, I just let it just went. As soon as I started getting into my
Wow.
set, I'm performing. The first joke I told, like thunderous applause, and I was on stage. I did about maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and I got like three standing ovations. Right? You don't see that. You don't
Wow.
see that on the edit.
Yeah. The edit in
You
it.
don't see that. I
Mm.
get like three standing. I had to tell them to sit back down. What you mean?
Wow.
Sit back down. Man, I need to finish my set. And I've got a screenshot I can show you because I don't lie. I tell the truth. Somebody who was working backstage actually said this to me on Facebook. He said that the crowd was making so much noise when I was on that they had to stop recording backstage and cut off all interviews. And the producers had to
Wow.
run to the side of the stage to see what was happening because they didn't understand what all that noise was because they hadn't been that kind of applause the whole day. People were stamping
Wow.
their feet. So people say things like, "Oh, he wasn't that good." They need to shut up, man. I was more than just that good, right? They see a 2 minute.
Oh, you were
People
epic,
don't
man.
understand that these things are edited. They don't understand how TV works, especially even our own people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you only told one or two jokes and you got a golden buzzer. Nah, I went in there and I was political from the start. I went on there. My opening jokes
Okay.
were about Brexit, the ETL. Like
Hmm.
I went on there and I did me, and so many of the jokes I did didn't even make it into the thing because they had to edit it and shorten it, show me backstage with my kids and stuff like that. So and all,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Of course, show the whole reel.
Mhm.
I mean, the thing is that speaking about the golden
Mhm.
buzzer, what would you say to those people that say you only got a golden buzzer because you're black and Alicia is black?
I mean, Alicia, like I said in my final, the last black person Alicia gave a golden buzzer to was 3 years ago. All golden buzzers have been white people. So it's like, why don't they
Yeah,
say anything when David Williams gives a golden buzzer to a white person? And Amanda Holden gave a
exactly.
golden buzzer to people that looked like they could have been her relatives. They were blonde, white. Nobody said anything. And isn't it funny how these
Hmm.
people say things like this, right? They'll say because there was one black judge or even two later on Britain's Got Talent, I had an advantage. But
Yeah.
the same people live in a country where the police are black, the ministers are black, the deans of the universities are black, the HR are black, the flipping CEOs are black, the business owners are black, the mayors, so I mean, are white. Like these people in positions of power are all white. The CEOs, all the politicians, all the ministers, all the MPs,
But then they'll deny
they'll deny
privilege.
privilege. But me, I have a privilege because there was one black
Amazing.
judge on a TV show.
Ooh, that's
And the
that
backstage
knowledge
on
as
the
well.
entire team, let's say out of about maybe 90 people, maybe 6 or 7 will be black.
Yeah.
And the thing is, remember,
Okay.
BGT is probably one of the most inclusive TV shows. They actually champion
Exactly.
diversity, but still look how underrepresented we are. So imagine what it's like in every
Hmm.
other business here in the UK. So like, and remember
Exactly.
that,
Well, you really, Karen, sorry.
remember as well that I wasn't the only black comedian that auditioned that day. I'm just,
Exactly.
so it's like, it just so happens, what people don't understand is this, the black comedy circuit is separate from the white comedy circuit. And I had to do both.
Hmm.
And then I was doing shows in front of Muslims where everybody, all the audience, I were Asian or Arab. So I've had to exist
Hmm.
and I've had to excel because the only way black people make it in any situation is by being excellent. Because we have to work 10 times. And
Hmm.
the thing is, like, we have to work 10 times as hard as everybody, right? And then on top of that,
Hmm.
for other black comedians, if you see one black comedian blow, you're like, oh, there goes my opportunity this year. That's the new guy.
Oh, wow.
Because Gina Ashray said when Lenny Henry was on TV, everybody was waiting for him to die so they could make some money. Because
Wow.
it's a one in, one out policy with a lot of these TV channels.
Hmm.
Mo Gilligan just had a TV show, but before Mo Gilligan, it had been 20 years since a black comedian got a show like his.
Was given TV
Yeah.
show.
In that
Ah,
time, count how many mediocre white comedians have had TV shows. White comedians can
that's
have
true.
one show and it fails and they put them on another. So when these people talk about how it's easier for us because it's black, now yes and no. Yes, because you're so used to flipping trying to be the best on every single show and trying to outshine people. Because as a black comedian, you go to a comedy club, right? You could smash it and they
Hmm.
still don't book you again. And some white guy will go and be
Yep.
mediocre and they'll book him. Because white mediocrity is easier to push than black excellence. Right? So and then on
Oh.
top of that, you have to compete against other black people because there's such little opportunity, they're cutthroat. They'll stab you in the
Hmm.
back to get ahead of you. I've seen it. They'll steal your jokes. They'll block you, and then when they get to where they are, they'll pull the ladder up from underneath them, so you can't. So you have to be even better than the other black acts as well. Because if you know there's only space for one, you have to be the one, right? And then when you're in
Yeah.
the white space, you still have to be excellent. So because of
Hmm.
that, when black comedians go on Britain's Got Talent, the ones that have the confidence to go always do well because you spent. It's just like a guy
Yep.
who had to fight every day, getting into a fight with
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
he's
yeah.
never had to fight. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
Of course, the guys
Yeah.
every day. No, of course. And the thing, the thing is undeniable, man. I said this to you privately, but you've been working for so hard, and I think like it's an inspiration, man. It's like I compared it to Burner Boy, how people can be grinding for 10 years, and you never know what will be the thing that changes their
Mm-hmm.
life, literally, man.
Let me tell you a
So
story,
cool.
man.
So okay, so
Do you
okay, Karen.
know Fuse, the Afrobeat artist?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do
ODG.
you know that I know him?
Is it the guy from
Ghanaian guy.
Ghanaian
Listen,
guy?
do you
Yeah,
know he used to be a rapper?
Azonto
Do you know
King.
he was before that? He was a rapper.
Okay, back in
Yeah,
the day.
like, and when I say rap, he was good.
Oh,
Like, I
okay.
think if he in his prime battled Wretch 3-2 or Akala or Loki, win.
Nah, don't, nah,
I
nah, nah,
still
nah,
have the
nah.
CD.
Don't
I'll
come on,
prove it.
come on, come on,
I
come
still
on.
have the CD.
Wretch is one of
Fuse,
the best lyricists in the
Fuse
UK,
was
bro.
better.
Okay,
Fuse was better.
I haven't heard it. I can't compare it. I'll
But
take your word
but the
for it anyway.
difference between him and all those guys was he never swore and he never
Okay,
talked about violence. Even the rest 3-2 is
okay,
positive, yeah, and
yeah.
conscious. But Fuse was on another level. He was really good and he did
Mm-hmm.
not swear. He did not promote. Everything he did had something witty behind it. It was something positive, something
Mm,
pro-black, something pan-African. So I
wow.
remember I used to work retail, and I remember
Yeah.
I'll never forget this day. Somebody came and heard a Fuse track, and I'm like, "Wow, this guy, this is
Okay.
live. This is live, man. Who is this guy?" And I said, "Fuse," and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Have you noticed he didn't swear even once?" He's like, "Oh." And then the guy put the CD down and left it. It was on holiday in Ghana. Fuse saw the Azonto dance and was like, "Wow, this dance is so amazing. It's a shame that there's no song that talks about the dance." So he made the song Azonto.
Okay.
When he did his launch for Antenna and his album,
Yeah.
he did it in a West African restaurant. And in that West African restaurant, that's where I used to run my comedy club upstairs. I was there. I was
Okay.
at the album launch party. In fact, I'm on the
Wow.
last CD where he rapped before he switched to Afrobeat. I did the intros. I did the skits. He used to
Oh.
record the songs in his house, bro, in his room. I've met his mom.
Rah.
I know the guy he used to rap with before, but that guy wasn't positive. He ended up going to prison. I've been to shows with Fuse where there
Okay.
were 4 people in the audience, bro. I'm talking about 7, 8 years
Damn.
ago. My wife knows Fuse. We all know Fuse. Ola knows Fuse. We all know him.
Damn.
Do you understand? He's been around.
It's
People
mad.
don't
It's
understand. This is
mad.
Mo Gilligan. Mo, yeah. We started comedy. He
Yeah.
started comedy just a little bit before me. He's been going
Damn. So how long that's
about
been
12.
then?
So I've been going about 11 years, yeah. He's been going
Yeah.
12. Same thing
Damn.
with that guy. The thing goes, yeah.
Michael
Michael
Dapper.
Dapper. He's been going easily about 9 or 10 years. People
Mm-hmm.
only know about you when you blow. Then all of a sudden it's overnight.
Of course.
But they don't see
Of
the grind.
course.
Do you really think, like these people think I'm overnight? Do you really think you can do what I did? Like people don't even consider something, right? And this is why I think my roses
Mm-hmm.
should be given. I should be celebrated.
100%.
Listen to my
No, but
listen
I
to my
think I
set.
think I think undeniable
Listen
talent.
to my set in the semi-final. Everything I did was
Yeah.
topical. No
Yeah.
comedian has ever done that on Britain's Got Talent. Everything I talked about
Mm-hmm.
was current.
Was
It was
current.
written,
Was current.
around that period of time about what was happening during
Yep.
that period of time. In my
Mm-hmm.
semi-final and my final, most comedians go on Britain's
Mm-hmm.
Got Talent and just do best of. They do all their best.
Yep.
I took that risk because that's how confident I was. And yeah, sure, I didn't
Yep.
win. Yes, I came fourth. But the thing is, I was never going to win. They wouldn't. This country would not allow. Yeah,
Yeah, and they think they're gonna put you in front of the
but
Queen.
it's fine. It's fine. But like this is what I'm saying. Could anybody who was just new to comedy do what I did? Of course not.
Of course not.
That's where the
Of
practice
course not.
comes in. So don't be surprised.
You master your craft.
Exactly. And it takes years, and it's painful. It's annoying. People will disrespect you.
Mm,
Even now, I get emails from our own, well, I say our community, but you know who I mean. And they're trying to get me to
yeah.
come and work for peanuts. And I'm like, are you mad? Like, I've just gotten the most expo. Even before Britain's Got Talent, I wouldn't do that. Some
Let alone
Islam
now.
channel tried to contact me and tell me to come do something for some nonsense. And they said, oh, it was exposure. I'm like, I'm on the most watched television show in Great Britain.
Like I can't pay my bills and exposure,
Yeah,
you
and it's
know.
like I had only just gotten the golden buzzer, right? And then they
Yeah.
contacted me talking about, oh, can I come and do some stupid show for some stupid, and this is after they'd already done something else, and I know maybe it's not the entire channel that's responsible, but somebody on the show, one of the producers from the Islam channel, thought that it would be a smart thing to try and get me to come and do something. Like, you're making me do extra work for less money, right? Or possibly even no money after I've just gotten the biggest possible exposure I could get for my art form. This is the level of
You have to ask,
executing.
you have to ask, is it crack?
Is
Is
it
it crack?
crap?
You have to ask,
Are
is
they
it crack?
smoking? Are they
That's
smoking garam masala? What is going on with these people? People are contacting me, telling me, can I advertise their business? And they're offering me something for less than minimum wage. I'm like, who are these black artists that are agreeing to do this, that makes these people have a Nigerian man? You're coming to a Nigerian man and asking him to work for free. Are you mad? Are you
Don't
crazy?
crack me up, man. That is true. It's
But that's
true.
the
It's true.
lack of respect.
Can't come and kill myself.
That's the lack of respect in the art. Like, everybody talks about, and I remember I had a Patreon, right? So I set up a Patreon, and somebody came and told me, "Oh,
Yeah.
that isn't that begging? Isn't that this? Isn't that that?" And I had to say to him, "Who told you to?" Someone said, "Oh, my friend's a poet, and he said he never set up a Patreon." I said, "Yeah, but does he do this
Oh,
full time?"
so say that again. You cut out. You cut out a little bit. Say that
This
again.
guy
You cut
told
out a
me that,
bit. Say that
"Oh,
again.
Nabil, you've got a Patreon, and isn't it demeaning? Because, like, my friend, who is a poet, said that he would never lower himself to having a Patreon, right?" And for those who are listening,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know, Patreon is like a website you can set up, and people make payments to you to support whatever art you do, right? Now,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this COVID, lockdown closed down many venues. I've had to cancel tour shows.
Of
I
course.
mean, I don't even want to calculate how much money I've lost this year because of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my social media is still entertaining people. People are still watching my
Yeah.
videos. People are still going to my page to lift spirits. Okay, then I've got a Patreon. I can offer you services online, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
for a fee. My time is not free. And some idiot
Mm-hmm.
decides to say that, yeah, this is like begging. I'm like, bro, that your friend that's saying that, what does he do? So he's a poet. I said, okay. Is he a full-time poet? He said, no. I said, then tell him to shut up. See,
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
the Muslim circle, people don't even know the difference between an expert and a novice when it comes to art. And then
Mm-hmm.
they'll say, "Oh, brother, can you come and do this comedy show for us for free?" Because brother flipping Arif or whoever he's gonna host it, and he said he'll host it for free. Yeah, but he's not a stand-up comedian. He's not a professional. Or, oh, this guy, we booked
Yep.
this guy to do it for this fee. Yeah, but that guy only ever does crappy charity nights. He's not a real comedian. If you want to book a
Yep.
professional, the reason you're coming to me, even though you probably inherently don't even like what I talk about, is because I'm so good. You have to come to me. That comes from the
Yep.
years I've spent perfecting my craft. So, oh, but brother,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a budget. These people spend 30 grand on a venue, but then expect acts to come
Mm-hmm.
in and perform for free,
For
for
£100
£100
or
for
free.
free. One person called me
Nah,
years ago.
the
Yeah,
disrespect.
someone called me
Yeah.
years ago, asked me to come to Manchester to do a show. I said, oh, but we'll have chicken, we'll have fried naming food. I said, chicken,
I know black people the stereotype we love chicken, yeah, but I'm sorry, not that much. I'm not gonna travel. I can make chicken at
That's what
home,
I
and
mean. Do you
obviously
think I got there
we
was
see
no
your
food in my
story.
house?
You're exactly, you're an amazing cook anyway. We see your
Yeah,
stories,
but
but on on the thing on social media, yeah. Are you one of those people who do you rate the new generation comedians who make it big off just purely make it big off Instagram, or do you feel like a bit like I know your generation always like, oh, you man can't even rap today, man. You man don't even know real music, man. We had like NWA, and we're like, well, rap
I mean,
changes, isn't
end
it?
of
Like
the day before
I'm a fan of Young Thug now,
end
yeah.
of the day is
So I'm
before
gonna
my
ask
time.
you
But
for
all you young thug listening, flipping and
yeah.
androgynous,
Young Thug is one of the best, I think, right now, right now. But anyway, we can forget about
young
new
thug
gen.
is
Yeah, I
one of
do
the
like
best right
Kendrick.
now.
I do like
I'm sorry, but
I
your
do
brother.
like Kendrick and J Cole,
Okay, fine. That's all. Okay, if you like that, then fine.
and
Case closed.
I've seen J Cole live, man. I'm saying that there is that.
I've not listened to them.
I can appreciate Young Thug, but my point, tying it back in, is there like this thing of like,
What
oh,
in
I had
comedy?
to struggle to get my
Is there that
yeah, no,
snobbery in
you from
comedy?
your angle. No, from
For
you
me,
though, your personal
okay, so
opinion.
this
You
is my
say, are you
opinion.
saying that I had to struggle? Yeah, I
This
had
is
to
my
struggle.
opinion,
Oh my God,
and
it's not
again, this is a very nuanced discussion. So first,
like speak about Munya. You know Munya Chihuahua.
yeah, but he's brilliant. But this is what I'm gonna say. There's a
Yeah,
difference between what he does and what I do,
yeah.
right? So this is the thing. People just see somebody being funny online, and then ah ha ha,
I
you
think
should
I
do
think it's
that.
all the
Yeah,
same.
I can guarantee you right now, Munir Chawawa cannot do stand up because he's never done it before.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
What
Yeah.
he does, I can't do. Well, I don't know if I can, but what he does is its own art form. That's sketch acting. That's musical, right?
Mm,
What Mo the comedian does, what Mo is a stand-up comic as well, but he does characters.
yeah.
That's different. And most of these guys that are
Mm,
blowing off of doing these things have a background in something. Munya probably studied drama or something. You know, he's probably a trained
mm-hmm.
actor. And if he does that naturally, then again, more that stuff takes practice. He didn't wake up one morning able to do what he's doing. He's got musical talent. He's
Yeah.
got writing ability. That is a separate skill set from, say, stand up comedy. So when I see somebody, what I don't like is people that blow from just talking into their phone and saying something dumb or like pranking people and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. To me, that's just coonery and idiocy, right? And you'll notice the guys that
Mm-hmm.
have that, it, after a while, you forget about them. After
100%.
a while.
Quick to rise and quick to fall. However, having said that, I do feel like when I see people on TikTok,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know if you have
No, I
TikTok.
don't.
I can respect it.
Yeah, it's a
I
skill
can
set. It's a
respect
skill
it
set.
because yeah, it's a skill set. Like I feel like Raleigh, you've told a whole story in a minute, like a whole like you made a mini move in a minute. I can
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
that.
a skill
Yeah,
set. But
and
I just don't like to be compared
talk.
to these people,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fair. That's fair. Talk to me about some of your inspirations, bro.
So, I mean,
Before I let you go.
my earliest childhood memory is watching Richard Pryor on VHS,
Yeah, I love Richard
Rowan
Pryor.
Atkinson as well. And then later,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Rowan Atkinson actually has a one-man show, which I think should be available on YouTube if you have the time to watch. And it's just him doing different
Okay.
characters and basically the equivalent of stand-up on stage. And it's brilliant. He does like an Indian character,
Wow.
he does all kinds of stuff, right? Amazing, just him. And he's such a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching that as a kid with my brothers, my brother and my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the Eddie Murphy as well. I watched all these, and I was like, I always loved stand-up comedians, even though I didn't even understand what it was at 5. I always
Yeah.
thought these guys are so amazing. And I remember growing up, stand-up comedy was one of my favorite things to watch. I loved it,
Wow.
even though at the time it wasn't blowing in Nigeria like it has now. Um,
Yeah.
I always subconsciously really admired these guys. And I was like, when I was like in Nigeria in secondary school, I was on the debate team, and my debate style was
Yeah.
comedy. It was comical.
Okay.
I would ridicule the people I was debating with, and I would put my,
That makes so much sense
yeah.
now.
I've been training for this for years. Hide truth in the dark arts, my young apprentice. But yeah, I was doing this, I would disrupt class. I would write jokes that I was going to use to annoy the teacher in class beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a whole routine, and I would start an argument with the teacher just so they would ask me specific questions, and I'd have an answer to the question, you know. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that, oh, this is stand up. It was just something I did. And then, eventually I found
Mm-hmm.
myself here. And obviously, my inspirations will always be comics that have something to say. I think the difference between my friend
Mm-hmm.
Ola coined this saying. He said the difference between a comedian and a clown is that a comedian has something to say. It's all well and good being
Mm.
funny, but what makes a good comedian is being funny and something. Many comedians will be
It's
millionaires,
true.
right? That's a given, and they'll just be funny.
Yeah.
But the people who will go
Yeah.
down in history and will be remembered for what they do will be the comedians who are funny and intelligent, funny and insightful, funny or there has to be an
Mm-hmm.
and. Dave Chappelle has many. Dave Chappelle is a genius.
I Oh no, he's genius, and he's a genius. And I'm gonna just get you on that. Just to wrap up on this point,
Mm.
I want you to rate from funniest, or no, it's not even funniest. In your opinion, from most talented to least talented, I want you to rate Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Chris Tucker, Chris Rock, Cat Williams, and Eddie Murphy?
See, that's a very difficult one to rate because while they all do stand up, they all do other things. So, for example, this might shock you. Eddie Murphy, to some, might be the most talented in that he had the best impressions, the best
Yeah.
acting ability, and he was able to reinvent himself after doing all the homophobic, racist, misogynistic stuff that he did, right? He's
Yeah.
now what? A star in children's films,
Yeah.
family
Mad.
movies. So while this may confuse people, I would say if you want to talk about raw talent, then the argument is there for Eddie Murphy. Doesn't mean he's the best comic,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of raw talent, and also it takes a skill to come up with these films that he's come out with. Then after that,
100%.
it's hard to judge where you put Kevin Hart in terms of business savvy. Kevin Hart is the most
Oh
talented
yeah.
because he's made more money than all
Mm-hmm.
those other people while not being
Yeah.
as skilled as a comedian as them because he knows how to think.
He's like a comic rock star,
Yes,
isn't it?
he's not as good at comedy as they are. He doesn't have the skill set that they do, even though he is very funny. But he's got a business
Yeah.
mind. So in terms of business, he
Mm-hmm.
is the most talented. And who was the other one? I would
Mm-hmm.
say even Chris Tucker, again, he was out of the game very quickly because he became a born again Christian. So it's hard to judge where
Yeah.
his career would have been. But I would say
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, I think Dave Chappelle is 0.5% better than Chris Rock.
Okay.
Simply because Dave Chappelle has been able to stay relevant after all these years. But then some people might say
Yeah.
it's only because Dave Chappelle left the game and then came back. So there's more hype around him because his last special that his first two specials he did as in a comeback after leaving the Chappelle show. Whereas while he was gone,
True.
Chris Rock was
True.
active. So actually, I would say him and Chris Rock,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of comedy, writing, and whatnot, they're equal. And also,
No, I
we
hear that,
respect
man. I
them
hear that,
because
man.
they're intelligent and funny.
Yeah, true. And have something to say,
Yep.
as you said. Bro, I love that, man. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
man.
having me,
Thank you
man.
so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that as well. This will be out very
Okay.
soon. Guys, as always, subscribe, like, comment, follow. Where can we find you, Nabil?
Croydon. At the moment, a lot of
Okay.
shows are cancelled.
Social media, where? No,
Okay.
social
Oh
media.
yeah,
Social media, I
social.
mean.
Sorry. See me, I'm old school. I think about real life.
You're old
Yeah.
school.
Okay. So
Oh,
my Instagram is man like nabs. My,
man like
my
Nabs.
Facebook is my name, and my Twitter is my name.
Mm-hmm. Which I'll post in the comments, guys. Please follow Nabil. Hit him up for bookings. Wagwan, where do we go?
Chambers Management.
Chambers Management. Bap, 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 bap. Cool.